Is this thing on?
Hello everybody and welcome to another Infinity Evolved Skyblock on the Season Gamers server with me, TechnoJock. We're having a look down at our nuclear reactor at the moment because it has just completed a new cycle. It's done a couple of runs for us and we're getting to the point now that we are close to getting what I really wanted to get. So I'm just waiting for the last of these fuel rods to go here. There we go, we've got enough now to make the other two quad fuel rods that we want. So let's toddle along to our nuclear reactor. So in real life, nuclear waste is not great. It's a bit of a pain to deal with, but in Minecraft world, it's exactly why we have this reactor running. Yes, it's producing us a fair bit of power. However, it's really not exactly why we're wanting to run it. We actually want the nuclear waste here. So we do actually have some back over here that I just took out not that long ago. If we can run over and say hello to Stalker as well. We have got these in here. We've got some normal ones as well, but we'll take these and we'll pop them into our thermal centrifuge. So we've got depleted uranium, and this will reasonably rapidly thermal centrifuge up, and we will get tiny piles of plutonium. Amongst other things, we'll get some iron back, and we'll get some uranium back, and we'll get these tiny piles of plutonium, which we then grab this slot out of here. We don't need it at the moment. Yeah, there we go. So we get 4 tiny piles of plutonium. Nice. We get some iron dust, presumably from the rods themselves, and we get 16 uranium. The 238 stuff. Now the tiny piles of plutonium you can make like that into just normal plutonium. Now normal plutonium, if we do like that, and we'll do it one more time. Oh, no, we don't have quite enough. Now we do. And we'll get 3 lots of plutonium. Now we can do, much like we did before with the uranium around it, and so substituting the uranium-235 that we would put in the middle, we get this stuff, MOX nuclear fuel. Now we don't actually want to do that. I've already got one in here, but it's not what we're wanting to do. What I am wanting to do, and I think I actually have one of them over here. Yes, I do. I've got a dense iron plate. I wanted to get this. Knew I kept it for a reason. Way back when. We're going to need quite a bit more of these. We're going to need another 5 of these dense iron plates. So, the overclockers we now have, it shouldn't take too long. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we'll just take those out. Yep, so 6 dense iron plates. Come back down here, being very careful of course to continue having our hazmat suit on, because things probably wouldn't go very well for us. Maybe it needs to go like that. That's what we need to do. So now we also have a pellet of RTG fuel. Now both of these are fuels in their own right. We can use the MOX nuclear fuel, we can put it in here and we could can it up and it would make a MOX nuclear fuel rod, and we could use it in the nuclear reactor over there and it would behave in exactly the same way, the difference being when it's depleted and when you thermally centrifuge that, you get more plutonium back. So it's a way of breeding up plutonium, and I think that's actually what constitutes a fast breeder reactor, but I could be wrong. Feel free to comment below to either confirm or refute what I have just said. Now, the pellets of RTG fuel are for a radioisotope thermal electric generator. Now, if you are familiar with either Kerbal Space Program or The Martian, then you'll probably know what that is. It's a form of nuclear reactor, kind of. What it does is it uses a big lump of nuclear isotope, and the heat from that then generates electricity, and they're used primarily on space probes and things like that where solar panels can't be used. So I think the New Horizons probe out by Pluto uses an RTG to generate the power, because out by Pluto there's not nearly enough sunlight to power solar panels. So yeah, but these things, if we have a look at the RTG, okay, it'll be radio. Yeah, we've got the radioisotope heat generator and the thermoelectric generator, and you can see the power output is a maximum of 32 EU per tick, so it's a piddling amount of energy. It's not worth our while. So why are we interested in that? Well, we're interested because we can do something like this, taking MOX, and by taking that, we can make ourselves iridium ore. It will, however, take a staggering length of time, which is why I am doing it now. If we have a look at iridium ore, you can see it's going to take 80 million RF to be able to do this. So we're starting it off now when we've got a nice fresh nuclear reactor over there that's going to power all of this stuff. Now let's make sure we get rid of all the rest of the material on us that's going to kill us if we're not careful. Get rid of that, we'll get rid of those in there as well, and I think we're okay to take that off. So that's going to be doing that, and it's going to be going off in its own way. Now we need a lot of iridium. So this could take quite a length of time to be able to make that. As you saw, we needed to get 6 bits of plutonium to make this, because we needed 3 for the MOX fuel, and then we needed a further 3 for the RTG pellet. So it's not really a viable way unless we're going to be taking a very, very long game approach, and I don't take a very, very long game approach. So there's another way of getting this stuff, and it's with this. We need IC2UU matter. I have made a mass fab and I have made a recycler, which isn't actually running at the moment. We can turn this on and it'll make a horrible bleepy noise and be very annoying. Now this is currently set so that if there's no amplifier, it will put on a redstone signal, which will disable this machine for a very good reason. You'll see as this is running, it has this amplifier, which is caused by it having scrap in here. Uses scrap to make this far more efficient. And you can see this is fair scooting up at the moment with the progress, and it'll go up, and it makes 1 millibucket. So it needs to do this 1,000 times before we get a bucket worth, which is fairly nasty. I'm going to step away from this a little bit whilst we do this. Right, so we need a fair bit of UU matter. Actually, is this going to be out of stuff soon? It will be, yeah. So it's going to be out, and I'll show you what I mean. I will take this control off the side, like that, and you will see, take this and this out. You'll see the amplifier will run down, and now you see it's still using the same amount of power, but the progress is considerably slowed down. So we do not want it doing that as much as possible. We'll turn this off at the moment, because it's draining the same amount of electricity, or RF, or EU, or whatever you want to classify it as. But yeah, that not good going forward. So we need to have this set up in a reasonably sensible way. And I will put it back to no amplifier, redstone signal on. Okay, and it'll go back on for a moment. We'll get rid of the scrap that's on us into here. Fairly sharpish, there we go. And we'll do that now. I'm going to turn it off at the moment. So, UU matter. What do we want it for? Well, we want it for making iridium. There's 2 things we're going to want it to make it for, and iridium is pretty much the one of them. The other thing that we want it for is bedrockium, and now bedrockium is another thing that we could have used the MOX nuclear fuel for. You can smelt it down and it will become bedrockium. Bedrockium ingots, yeah, MOX nuclear fuel. So the MOX nuclear fuel quite handy for both bedrockium and the iridium, but difficult and well, not difficult to get hold of, but very, very time consuming to get hold of. So we want it for that. So we need to be able to get a reasonable amount of this UU matter. Now, it doesn't take a massive amount of UU matter to make these things. It's a few hundred millibuckets. It's not a full bucket of UU matter that it takes to make these things, but it is a fair bit, so we need to get this going fairly rapidly. But there's other things that we need to be able to do. Like I say, we still needed to actually have a nuclear reactor by this point, and the reason is we needed a scanner. Now, the scanner, I'm not going to set it up here. Well, I will set it up over here for the moment, and I will put it here. Yeah, I'm going to put it here for the time being. I prefer that wasn't there. And we will get another MV wire connector. I think MV should do it. We'll get this hooked up. Like, no, it's not going to do. Okay, we'll have to do it like that. It's getting messy over here again. Not going to stay over here. So this thing, is it going to be powered by this? Doesn't appear to be getting power. Maybe it's because all the power is going into this. Maybe that's taking all the power. Oh no, there's a tiny, tiny little bit of power in there. I think this is just got a staggeringly large buffer then. Okay. But there's also something else we need in here. We need a crystal, memory crystal, something like that, isn't it? Yes, crystal memory. So we need to get this. We need silicon dioxide, which is clay dust in the thermal centrifuge. Let's go and get that sorted out. Clay dust in the thermal centrifuge, the central thermituge. That's what I keep on wanting to call it for some reason. Okay, let's grab this. We're going to want a couple of these probably. And I would imagine the macerator will be our friend for this. I'm just going to get one of these. So, we need okay, can we put it through the pulverizer? No, it has to be that. Okay, in which case I'm nabbing the overclockers from that one and putting them into this. So we need 4 for each one, and 5, so we need 20 in total. So let's get this done. That's 12. And we will thermally centrifuge this. Clay dust, let's put our hazmat suit on and take that stuff out of there. And that, this stuff isn't radioactive, so we can forget about that just now. Here. That'll give us sufficient to be going on with it at the moment. And toddle on down here. Let's put this in here, so that's given us 1. And we need to go back upstairs anyway, so we'll wait for this stuff to get going. That scanner thing is probably going to take quite a considerable length of time, as is this. How is this doing? It's actually done an appreciable amount. That's not too bad. I'm relatively happy with that. Ooh, that's red. That means it's completely chocker. It's completely maxed out, that golden kinesis pipe. But that's going, and it will take a length of time. That's 3. We need 5, so 2 more and we'll be there. So what we need to do is we need one of these iridium ores to scan, and then we'll be able to use a replicator to be able to take the disk with the information on it. This replicator, which is quite expensive, and this will use the UU matter and the pattern stored on the disk of the iridium ore, and it will make us more iridium. And this, we've got reinforced glass, that's fine. We can make an MFE, that's fine. HV transformers, not the worst in the world. Machine casing, some wire, circuit, battery, got all that. 3 teleporters though, so we're going to need 3 advanced machine casings, more glass fiber, more advanced circuits. Frequency transmitters, pretty easy. It's expensive but doable. Reinforced stone is a bit of a pain though, because that means we're going to need a CF sprayer. This stuff here, or this little gun here, we can make iron item casings and a universal fluid cell, which is tin casings and glass. Easy. And then we get this stuff, which is CF powder, which is sand, clay, and stone dust again. And we use this CF powder in the fluid solid canning machine. Instead of the lapis dust, we put that CF powder in there, and instead of IC2 coolant, it makes stuff that goes into this CF sprayer, which then we spray over iron scaffolding, I want to say, and then that makes us the reinforced stone. So we've got that to do ahead of us. So let's get on and do this bit at the moment and make our crystal memory storage. We need to have this stuff, so we need to go like that, and then like that makes us our crystal memory, and then we can smelt it down like that, and makes us that. Perfect. Let's go get rid of that, and that, and that, and that. You know what, we can get rid of that, and that, and that, and that. I'll keep the cobblestone stuff on us, because we just keep cobblestone on us. So we can put this crystal memory in here. So there we go, and that has filled up. So that will take a very long time to scan. It'll probably take as much time as it's going to take to actually make the iridium itself. So let's make the CF sprayer. I think would probably be a good idea. Let's get tin casings, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We need of that, and then we need 1, 2, and 3 of that. I think, isn't it? Yep, and a glass pane. I don't know if I've got any glass panes. Yes, I do. Excellent. Okay. So, like that to make the universal cell, and like that makes us our CF sprayer. Now, what I am wanting to do is make some more of these, extruding these things, because I need to take that stuff out of there that's in the tank next to it. That's good. Right, that will be completely emptied. Excellent, we are good to go. So we need to make, this will put that in there, so it'll fill that up. I need to make CF powder stuff, so we need stone dust. We've got plenty of stone dust over here. That's iron dust. Where's this stone? Maybe it's up in here. I hope I didn't bin it all. Stone dust. Nope, we got plenty of stone dust. And we need sand. I'll just grab the 2 at the moment. And clay. Clay, 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 clay. And we have clay as well. Perfect. let's go like that, like that. Put the clay in the middle, and we'll do like that. And we've got 1 CF powder. Let's see how this does and how much we get for this. It's working, and it's got a bucket's worth. Okay. Let's see how we get on with the bucket's worth. Now we need to make this scaffold stuff as well, don't we? Iron scaffold, which is iron plates and iron fences, and iron fences are iron item cases extruded. Now we need, and it makes 16, so we need 3 iron item casings extruded. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is set to extruding, isn't it? It is. Excellent. Gotta say, this episode going a lot smoother than when we were trying to make that wand, that's for sure. There we go. So, now I happen to know... Right, let's put a little bit of this down. Okay, and that used 400 millibuckets. So obviously it uses 100 millibuckets per thing. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then let's just have a little bit extra in case, because I didn't know if it was going to extend all the way along or up the way. That's fine. So I also know, now that's empty, also know that this will take ages to dry. It's not ready to, see, it's reinforced construction foam, it's not ready, but if you use some sand on it, that hardens it instantly, and sand is pretty cheap. So rather than wait, we can do that. Now, this is also extremely hard stuff to break. Much harder even than obsidian. And this is what you're really meant to use to go around your nuclear reactor to stop the explosion from taking out your entire base. So one of the ways that I deal with this in, or have dealt with this in other packs and before, is to use the exchanger thing from thermal expansion. If you go, these things, the redstone and the resonance exchangers, which I do want to get sometime soon because of things like this, you can swap this out for another block, say cobblestone. You can use those things to swap them for the cobblestone in your inventory, and that way it's instantaneous, and then obviously you can just remove the cobblestone very easily instead of having to do this. But this will give us a fair amount of this stuff. We won't need to use a huge amount more. As you saw, that recipe for the replicator only needs 2 of this, and this is going to give us 10. It is used in something else. I can't remember what else. Hang on 2 seconds. We'll just have a look once I've broken this one. Uses of that stuff. Assembly table. Nope. Oh, it's used for making reinforced obsidian. That's what it's used for. Oh, and it's also used for pattern storage. Okay, we need to be able to make that actually. That's one of the other things I need. I'd forgotten completely about that, because the pattern storage, the scanner goes to the pattern storage, goes to the replicator. Okay, we've got that to do. That's 2 mining lasers. Pain, but we've done it. Those we've done. That's fine. That's fine. We're not going to be able to get to it in this episode, but we will, I think, manage to get this done, at least, and get this out of our way. It's probably going to take us to the end of the episode to do this. So we need to be able to get a bunch of stuff ready. A lot of advanced machine frames need done. We need to make a couple of those lasers, bunch of other stuff, so we've got 10 of that. That's good though, we are in a good position moving forward. So we're going to need like that, so we've got the replicator, and we need that reinforced glass and all these stuff. That's good. but I do think that probably takes us up to the end of this episode. Looking at the time, this is, what, a quarter of the way done? Yeah, it's just over a quarter of the way done. It's just above that, so it's not quite a third of the way done, I would say. But it's going better than I actually anticipated that it would. It's clearly going as fast as it possibly can, because there's a bottleneck there. I don't want to make a circuit. Maybe I could put this line over and it would split, but no, then the bottleneck would just be here rather than there. Ah well, never mind. But in any case, I think that does take us up to the wrapping up point. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Please do like, subscribe, all the rest of it. If you've got any suggestions, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section down below. And as ever, check out the other Season Gamers and see what they're up to. But until the next time, when we will hopefully be replicating things, it bids you a bye-bye and have a funs. Bye-bye.